In the depths of the Roman Empire, there sat a man who possessed the power to crush any soul with a single word. Yet he chose the weight of silence instead. Marcus Aurelius did not reach for the throne. The throne reached for him, and in that transition, he realized a truth that most of us spend our entire lives running away from. We live in a world that demands we scream to be heard, that we crawl to be loved, and that we justify every breath we take to people who don't even matter. But there is a hidden, lethal frequency in the universe that only the Stoic knows how to tune into. It is the frequency of the ghost, the shadow, and the king who needs no crown. If you find yourself exhausted from chasing shadows and begging for scraps of validation, understand that you are not tired of life. You are simply tired of being loud. True power does not bark. It exists. It does not explain. It settles. And it never, under any circumstances, chases anything that is running away from it. The moment you begin to chase a person, a dream, or a reputation, you have already signaled to the universe that you are lacking. You have declared your own inadequacy. Stoicism teaches us that the second you pursue something with desperation, you give that thing authority over your peace of mind. Think about the mechanics of a chase. One is the predator and the other is the prey. If you are chasing, you have accepted the role of the subservient. You are reacting to the world rather than commanding your own space. Marcus Aurelius looked at the chaos of the Rome he ruled and realized that the only thing he truly owned was his internal fortress. When you chase, you abandon your fortress. You leave your gates wide open and run into the wilderness, hoping to catch a feeling that was never meant to be captured. The Stoic knows that what belongs to you will gravitate toward you through the sheer force of your character. If it requires you to lose your dignity to keep it, then it was never yours to begin with. It was a mirage designed to test your resolve. We have been conditioned to believe that if we want something, we must hunt it down until our lungs burn. But look at the stars or the changing of the seasons. Does the sun chase the moon? Does the ocean beg the shore to stay? They simply exist in their purpose, and the world bends to their rhythm. When you stop chasing, you become a fixed point in a spinning world. People start to wonder why you are no longer running. They become curious about the gravity you've created. This is not a game of manipulation, but a fundamental law of human nature. Value is found in scarcity and composure. By refusing to chase, you regain the energy you were wasting on people who were never going to stay anyway. You redirect that fire inward, forging a version of yourself that is so compelling, so grounded, and so silent that the world has no choice but to pay attention. Begging is the ultimate betrayal of the self. Whether you are begging for a second chance, begging for a promotion, or begging for someone to understand your worth, you are essentially telling the world that your value is up for debate. To a Stoic, your value is an objective fact, not a democratic vote. If you have to plead with someone to see your light, they are already blind and no amount of words will give them sight. We often beg because we are afraid of the void. We are terrified of the silence that follows when a relationship ends or a door closes. So, we hold on to the handle, weeping and asking for one more minute. But Marcus Aurelius would tell you that everything you lose is a liberation. It is the universe pruning the dead branches of your life so that you can grow taller. There is a profound, almost terrifying beauty in turning your back on something that no longer serves you. It is the act of a sovereign soul. When you stop begging, you reclaim your throne. You realize that the only person whose approval you need is the one staring back at you in the mirror at 3 in the morning. The trap of explanation is perhaps the most subtle thief of our power. We feel this burning need to explain our side of the story, to defend our reputation, and to make sure everyone knows our intentions were pure. But here is the cold, hard reality that the Stoics mastered. People do not hear your words. They hear their own projections. If someone is determined to misunderstand you, a 1,000-page manifesto will not change their mind. In fact, the more you explain, the weaker you appear. You are effectively putting your character on trial and asking for a jury of fools to deliberate on your soul. Silence is the most devastating response to a false accusation or a petty rumor. It shows that you are so secure in your truth that you don't feel the need to prove it. Your life is the only evidence you should ever provide. Let your actions be so loud that your words become unnecessary. When you refuse to explain yourself, you keep your mystery and your dignity intact. You leave the other person to shadowbox with their own insecurities while you walk away untouched. There is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person goes silent. It creates a vacuum. Most people are terrified of silence, so they fill it with noise, lies, and frantic energy. But the Stoic uses silence as a shield and a mirror. When you stop talking, you start seeing. You see the motives of those around you. You see the cracks in their arguments. You see the desperation in their eyes. Your silence becomes a superpower because it makes you unpredictable. You cannot be baited into an argument you don't care about. You cannot be manipulated by flattery or insulted by ignorance. You become like a mountain, unmoved by the storms that swirl around its peak. This is the essence of Stoicism, the realization that while you cannot control the wind, you can absolutely control the sails. And sometimes, the best way to handle the wind is to simply lower the sails and wait for the storm to pass. The reality of the human condition is that we are all seeking a sense of belonging, but we often seek it at the cost of our integrity. We think that by being loud, by being available, and by being agreeable, we will find peace. But peace is not found in the crowd. It is found in the stillness of your own mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for an audience, but for himself. He was talking to his own soul, reminding himself to stay steady amidst the madness of leadership. He knew that the moment he started caring what the Senate thought of his private thoughts, he would lose his ability to lead. You are the emperor of your own life. Your thoughts are your subjects. If you allow external opinions to dictate your internal state, you have effectively started a civil war within yourself. You must learn to be your own best friend and your own toughest critic. When you achieve this, the need to beg or explain simply evaporates. The world is a marketplace of egos, all shouting for a moment of relevance. By choosing to stay quiet, you exit the marketplace entirely. You become a luxury, not a commodity. A commodity is cheap and easily replaced. A luxury is rare, silent, and carries an inherent weight. Think about the people you truly respect. Are they the ones who are constantly posting their every thought on social media? Are they the ones who beg for attention in every room they enter? No. They are the ones who walk in with a quiet confidence that speaks volumes. They are the ones who can sit in a room for an hour without saying a word, and yet their presence is felt by everyone. That is the superpower of silence. It is not about being cold or distant. It is about being centered. It is about knowing that your energy is your most precious resource and refusing to spend it on things that do abandon you. When you stop chasing, something miraculous happens. The things that are meant for you begin to find their way to your doorstep. It is as if the universe was waiting for you to get out of your own way. By stopping the frantic pursuit, you allow the natural flow of life to take over. You begin to notice opportunities that you were too busy to see because you were looking in the wrong direction. You start to attract people who value you for your essence rather than your efforts. This is the factual reality of Stoic living. It is a life of high efficiency and low friction. You stop fighting against the current and start using it to your advantage. You realize that the most powerful thing you can do in any situation is to remain unperturbed. If someone leaves, let them. If someone stays, welcome them. If someone speaks ill of you, let the words fall to the ground like dead leaves. This philosophy is not for the faint of heart. It requires a level of self-discipline that most will never achieve. It requires you to sit with your loneliness until it turns into solitude. It requires you to face your fears without the crutch of someone else's approval. But on the other side of that discipline is a freedom that cannot be described. It is the freedom of a man who knows he can lose everything and still be whole. It is the freedom of a woman who knows her worth is not tied to a relationship or a job title. This is the legacy of Marcus Aurelius. This is the heart of Stoicism. You do not need to be more. You do not need to do more. You simply need to be still. Your silence is not a lack of words. It is a presence of mind. It is the ultimate flex in a world that is losing its grip on reality. So, from this moment forward, make a pact with yourself. Refuse to be a beggar in your own life. Refuse to be a hunter of things that do not want to be caught. Refuse to be a defendant in the court of public opinion. Take all that wasted energy and pour it into your craft, your health, and your spirit. Build a life that is so substantial that it doesn't need to be defended. Cultivate a mind that is so sharp it doesn't need to shout. When you move through the world with this level of stoic resolve, you become a force of nature. You become the silent storm. And while the rest of the world is busy chasing, begging, and explaining, you will be the one who is truly living. you will be the one who is truly free. Because in the end, the person who needs nothing is the person who has everything. Your silence isn't just a superpower, it is your salvation.